Today we are going to be taking one of the most scenic train journeys in the world.
This morning, Laura and I are stoked to arrive at the Christchurch train station where we're going to be boarding the TranzAlpine, which is one of the most beautiful train journeys in the world. It's going to take us across the stunning Southern Alps and back. The trip is going to take us 223 kilometers across the Southern Alps all the way to the west coast of the South Island of New Zealand and through the beautiful Otira National Park. But first, I need to find my ticket.
So we've been on the train literally 2 minutes and Robin has lost the tickets already. You're going to get chucked off of the train.
Yeah, I heard in New Zealand they actually throw you off the train as soon as they're full speed if you don't have your tickets. So that's what's about to happen to Laura.
Once Robin finally finds our tickets and the ticket inspector to show it to, we can finally sit down, relax and enjoy the scenery of this super famous journey through New Zealand. At first we're passing through the Canterbury Plains, which has to be the flattest part of New Zealand, until we reach a little town called Springfield, which marks the beginning of this huge change in scenery as we enter the Southern Alps. We can really make the most of this epic scenery thanks to the open viewing carriages, but we find that our favourite carriage ends up being the food carriage. Because it's Christmas Eve, we are really treating ourselves to lots and lots of food, so be warned, you're going to see us eating a lot in this episode.
First up, we obviously need to get ourselves a freshly roasted coffee to go alongside the beautiful views of the beginning of the Southern Alps. But we also get ourselves a bit of a snack. Laura goes for a fresh food bowl and I'm going for a healthy breakfast wrap. As we get ever closer of the world famous Otira National Park, the views are getting grander and grander. We are now seeing the stunning braided rivers that are running straight from the top of the mountain ranges. The waters is turquoise and silica blue. It's a perfect picture opportunity that we can't miss, so we head for the viewing carriage. After taking a minute to embrace the views with her own eyes, Laura is getting glued to her camera and is taking hundreds of pictures. Those views are so stunning and so unique throughout New Zealand that we can't miss those perfect pictures opportunities. The landscape is just so diverse between the large plain with colorful lupin flowers and the rugged, snowy mountain peaks on background. It's just amazing. Laura can't stop taking pictures.
Reaching the Arthur's Pass station, we get about 10 minutes to embrace the views while there's 2 locomotives being added to the front of the train because it's now going to be heading through one of the longest train tunnels in the world, which is the Otira Tunnel. The Otira Tunnel is that long that it needs an extra locomotive added to the front just in case there is a breakdown in the middle of these mountains. And it was the second longest tunnel in the world when it was constructed back in 1923.
The tunnel is actually that long that I ended up picking the Import magazine and doing my first Sudoku ever. Are we there yet, Laura?
Yes, after 8.5 kilometers, we finally see the light of day as we cross into the west coast of the South Island, where the views again dramatically change to luxuriant rainforest. We arrive in Greymouth where, surprise, surprise, we are treating ourselves to some more food.
Because we're taking the journey back and forth to Christchurch, we actually only have about an hour to explore the little township of Greymouth before the train comes back to pick us up. But there is heaps to do in Greymouth and we wrote all about it on backpackerguide.nz and the link is in the description below. The journey back is taking us the very same way. It's more of the same and we're not complaining. We are planning to do more of the same and order even more food. Because this is gonna be our dinner, we are making it a real Christmas dinner. We are taking ourselves some roast and all the food served aboard the train is actually from a company called Wishbone, which owns multiple cafes here in New Zealand, and the food is actually surprisingly delicious despite being sous vide. We are treating ourselves to some awesome roast stuffed chicken and New Zealand lamb shank, and because it's Christmas we are treating ourselves to some wine as well, locally sourced in the Marlborough region, right on top of the New Zealand South Island. We also take the time to meet some other people in the train. This is a couple from the US which is spending their honeymoon right here in New Zealand and is having an absolute blast. But to be quite honest, there are two things that Laura and I cannot get enough of during these train journeys. First, it's the stunning views. They are absolutely amazing and I love the viewing carriage which offers uninterrupted views of the beautiful Southern Alps. And second, well, it's the food because we're both really greedy and as soon as we hear that it's the last call for the cafe, we rush there to grab ourselves a last treat.
Yum yum yum, that was both a delicious and stunning train journey. But for us it's time to depart the TranzAlpine Express as we arrive back into Christchurch. And keep watching because we have much more planned in both Christchurch City and the Banks Peninsula.
This travel diary is going to be extremely lengthy today because the longer I talk, the longer I stay on that chair. Too comfortable and talking. Is he recording? Yeah. Good. Just making sure.